Welcome to Nerdities. Bitches.
Good evening, weirdos. It's time to draw the shades. Get your VPNs ready. Dust the old cobwebs off the tinfoil hat, because it's time for Vin and Justin's Tinfoil Hat Society. Nerdity's place for the super weird. I am co-host of the show, Justin, joined by my co-host,
Vin.
What she said there gonna make more sense than anything that's gonna come out in this show.
And we're joined by our in-house skeptic.
Me, Mike.
Yeah. And the resident fence sitter.
Kyle.
There we go.
And the only rational one in the room, Emery.
Real quick, before we get to tonight's topic of the black-eyed children, we got an update. Remember last year in Vegas, there was that family that called the cops to check out the alien craft that had landed in their backyard, and there was, they said there was creatures back there. And the first part of the cops' body cam came, and they were freaked out to go to the call. Well, there's some more footage from the body cam, and in it, a crime scene analyst is breaking down the video, saying there are at least two beings using some sort of cloaking device that landed in the Las Vegas backyard, a veteran crime scene reconstruction analyst said. Scott Roeder, who has testified as an expert in some of the most highly publicized criminal cases in the world, broke down a video of a reported alien sighting in Las Vegas frame by frame. In 1 second of real time, there are 30 frames that show a head with smoke around it, which Roeder called some sort of cloaking device. Moving into the top right corner of the video and peering over the fence, he goes, "I applied the same principles that I would apply to any kind of homicide investigation," said Roeder, who testified in cases like Oscar Pistorius' murder trial. "At this particular time, with what we've seen here, is proof of a couple things. That these entities are real. They're there. This is not fake. This is not a fraud." Roeder worked with Jim Quirk, a reporter who runs the Extraterrestrial Reality podcast and who shared videos and images with Fox News Digital to recreate the scene in the Las Vegas backyard on April 30th, 2023. Before the reported alien sighting, there was an unexplained streak of light that raced across the sky. It was captured on Las Vegas police body cams, and at least 21 people across eastern California, Arizona, Nevada, and Utah reported seeing the glowing green light, according to the American Meteor Society. Shortly thereafter, Angel Kenmore called 911 and told the dispatcher that he saw a tall, skinny alien creature with greenish color, about 8 to 10 feet tall, hiding behind their forklift in the backyard. In a video Kenmore shared on YouTube, Kenmore and 3 other family members walk in a line to react to something and run, what they likely didn't even realize is a potential second being peering over a tall fence. And that's what we see in this frame-by-frame breakdown.
Okay, is this the video with 3 people almost standing in line?
Yeah, well, they're standing in line. It's a pretty narrow fucking alleyway.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now, and it's way too digitized to even. There's one frame where you see a thing that might be a thing.
Hey, it's a thing.
It might be a thing. It might be refracted light. It might be a wacky waving inflatable arm guy. There's just not enough detail there.
Is it Slender Man, you think? You think it's Slender Man?
No, there's no pasta here. Creepy or otherwise.
No. What do you think, Ben?
I believe the mysticism behind UFOs 10 years ago is better than what we're seeing. Does that make sense?
No, you're going to have to elaborate on that one.
Like Mike said, I see a thing that might look like a thing, maybe. I mean, it could be video editing voodoo.
Well, the analyst wouldn't come out and be like, it's legit. If it was tampered, he's gonna know.
Yeah.
He's not saying they're aliens.
Find it.
He's not saying there's aliens. He's saying there's definitely something there. There's
Yeah.
like two things that can be barely made out. What he's saying is the footage itself isn't doctored in any way.
It really isn't enough to even see if it's a person, if it's a humanoid structure, or whatever it is. And then that's the thing in the distance. And then there's something to the upper right of frame that gets blurry for literally a frame.
Yeah, I remember I didn't see shit when I looked at this video. I might have been like really. I think I was really tired when I was looking at it, but I didn't really see shit. Also, does this put another bean in the jar of interdimensional beings over Aryans?
That's not a phrase. What?
Bean in the jar.
I like it.
Bean? As in like...
Yeah, a bean
I
counter.
thought you said B. Like what?
Oh, yeah, we'll do B.
Bee in the hive?
No, it's a bee in the jar. Capturing bees in jars.
You're sick, man.
What?
They can't do their job in there.
You poke holes in the top and you put honeycombs in there and they're happy.
What I think is, yeah, I think it lends a bit more towards the interdimensional thing. What it makes me think, though, is remember the reports from the Miami Mall?
Yeah, I still, that one was a weird one. That one was weirder than this one.
But that seems like it's similar explanations of what happened, right? Like we see on the video that the being is kind of fuzzy, whatever's going on there. Eyewitnesses in the mall said that when the beings appeared there, they like kind of phased in and out.
Yeah. Which would play into the cloaking device trope.
Right.
Makes me think of M-Dale from Thor, the flash of light, and then they're just in the backyard, whacking off, looking through the guy's window.
I missed that scene.
What were they doing in his backyard? Obviously, they came down here just to quickly whack off in his backyard.
Trying to stay on topic. I think it's more interdimensional beings than it is. You know.
Yeah. Because what was their craft?
Well, let's take the huge leap here and say that it was an interdimensional being. Wouldn't they be, by definition, also alien?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just not intergalactic?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's all synonymous, I'm starting to think. Because demons, aliens, all that shit, it's kind of the same thing. Right?
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Why? Well, you can't. If both exist, then they're kind of like sisters, you know?
Cousins, if anything.
Not even close in my eyes. Because most demons, the story behind quite a few demons, they can possess a person. Like literally, their spirit, that thing that they are, can go into a person and take them over. I mean, demonic possession. You don't hear about alien possession.
Not really.
Right. Okay. Have you ever heard of MK Ultra?
Well, yeah, that's them using...
Okay. Run with me on this thought experiment. So that's what we had in 50s, 60s?
I believe it was from the 50s through the 70s.
Okay.
A variety of horrendous things the CIA did.
Right. So now they have advanced technologies. Think about Neuralink coming up. Person can easily get hacked if that thing goes fucking live. Skynet goes live, all of a sudden, you're T-1000 trying to take out John Connor. So now, cut to interdimensional aliens or demons. What do they got?
Well, I think if we're talking interdimensional, it's more than one dimension, right? That's what that means. So I think
Perhaps.
demons are on a whole different level than where aliens come from.
Maybe.
It seems demonic forces tend to be more of an energy than they are of a physical form.
There's a whole umbrella term we have here of supernatural. Anything that isn't easily explained.
Right.
Now there's the scientific supernatural stuff that we tend to think of as aliens. Then there's the spiritual supernatural stuff, where stuff like stuff like angels and demons, and like genies and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Any supernatural thing that can't be accomplished via technology.
Well, then you think about the description of these things, and they're always fuzzy, like they're phasing in and out.
Yeah, but they seem to have like a physical form. Most demonic entities don't.
Most stories of demonic entities, we're talking about them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I know when I've seen demons, there's no like physical form. They're more of a shadow. But this is different. This is like fuzzy. This is like something's there but not completely visible to the spectrum of light that we see.
Have you heard of astral projection?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen Doctor Strange.
So there was a monk. I forget what the fuck his name was, but he was going to stand trial. And long story short, he went to the trial, and like, I don't know. Apparently, he was like not actually there. I'm gonna find the story from my buddy because he told me the story.
Yeah, find that because that sounds interesting to me.
It's a wicked story.
I don't know, man. Could be one step closer to disclosure here. Probably not, though.
Yeah, the whole show still remains. So there's an idea that was thrown out there by a guy, and like, right?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because tonight's main topic, the
We're
black
gonna
eyed.
go there. We're gonna circle back around to Vinny's
I
transcendental.
was gonna give him a
case?
few more minutes. I wasn't diving in, but I was
No, just skip it. He's got a 2-year-old. Who knows when he'll get back to me.
I was going to put out there that I have a personal story involving the black-eyed children.
You punching babies?
No.
No, James isn't a baby anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't count. So, let's dive into tonight's main topic. The black-eyed children are just as they sound, supernatural beings that resemble children from 6 to 16 years old with pale skin and black eyes, usually wearing out of date or strange clothing. Now, that means the entire eye is black. All of it.
They're reverse versions of Paul Atreides, essentially.
Yeah. They're typically found hitchhiking or begging for money or food along abandoned streets and even on people's doorsteps. One wouldn't think that children would be too frightening. However, the number one claim that everyone shares in their encounter with the black-eyed children is an overwhelming sense of terror. Because of this sense of horror, there are no stories about what happens when you allow a black-eyed child into your car or home because everyone claims to flee upon meeting a black-eyed child. The black-eyed children date back to the 1950s, but the most famous encounter came from the journalist Brian Bethel in 1996. We have Brian's story to go over in a few minutes. Are they vampires, aliens, demons? No one knows for sure. The stories of the black-eyed children are unnerving, but it isn't really that terrifying if you stop and think about it. Children dressed in out-of-date clothes with black eyes standing back and staring at you, begging to be let into your car or house. The simplicity of the story makes us think that maybe, just maybe, there is some truth to these claims. Let's just hope you don't find out the hard way and bump into a black-eyed child the next time you're driving home late at night alone in the dark. Here is the story of Brian Bethel. One of the earliest known encounters with the black-eyed kids happened in 1996 in Abilene, Texas. Brian Bethel, a journalist for the Abilene Reporter News, was sitting in his car outside the local cable company. He was using the light of the nearby theater marquee to write a check for the overnight drop box when they approached. There was a knock on my driver's side window, Bethel wrote about the incident. 2 young boys, somewhere between 9 to 12 years old, and dressed in hooded pullovers, stood outside. Bethel rolled down the window down slightly, expecting the kids to ask him for money, but he immediately felt an incomprehensible, soul-racking fear. A conversation ensued between one boy, a somewhat suave, olive-skinned, curly-headed young man, and myself, Bethel said. The other, a red-headed, pale-skinned, freckled young man, stayed in the background.
Well, now I'm scared.
The boy explained that they wanted to see Mortal Kombat, but had forgotten their money at home. Could they get a ride? Bethel felt the irrational fear growing. He looked at the marquee, then down at the clock on his dashboard. The last showing in Mortal Kombat had already started. If he gave the kids a ride anywhere, the movie would be nearly over by the time they returned to the theater. All the while, the spokesman uttered assurances, Bethel wrote. It wouldn't take long. They were just 2 little kids. They didn't have a gun or anything. The last part was a bit unnerving.
That he knew of.
Bethel noticed that his hand was on the door lock, pulled it away, then looked back at the boy outside the window. In the short time I had broken the gaze of the spokesman, something had changed, and my mind exploded in a vortex of all-consuming terror. This guy's definitely a writer. He said, both boys stared at me with coal-black eyes, the sort of eyes one sees these days on aliens or bargain basement vampires on late-night television. Soulless orbs like 2 great swaths of starless night.
Lifeless eyes, like a dog's eyes. They roll back black when they feed.
He began to panic, but tried to appear calm. He apologized and made excuses why he couldn't help them. He put the car in reverse and began to roll up the window. My fear must have been evident. The boy in the back wore a look of confusion. The spokesman banged sharply on the window as I rolled it up. His words, full of anger, echo in my mind even today. We can't come in unless you tell us it's okay. Let us in. I drove out of the parking lot in blind fear, and I'm surprised I didn't sideswipe a car or 2 along the way. I stole a quick look in my rearview mirror before peeling out into the night. The boys were gone. Even if they had run, I don't believe there was any place they could have hidden from view that quickly. What did I see? Bethel wrote in 2013. Your guess is literally as good as anyone's. I've had everything from vampires to demons to ghosts to aliens to somewhat detailed hallucinations posited as possibilities. Another question.
I'm going for the last one.
Another question lingers. What would happen if someone opened the door and let the kids into their home? Or if Bethel had given the kids a ride? As much as I still don't know about what happened that night and why, here's one thing that I do know. It's a gut feeling, but one that rises to a level of almost certainty, he said. If I had given the spokesman and his friend a ride on that long ago evening, I don't think I would be here to type this now. Creepy.
It's creepy. One might say creepypasta. This has all the earmarks of internet storytelling.
I mean, it's been turned into some because of this. But again, with instances happening way back in the 50s, I think.
So, when you said the story that happened in I think you said 1996.
Yes.
But you said it was one of the first instances of it, right?
The first modern. Like,
Okay.
It's the first time it had, blown up in our modern time.
I was going to say, so, what is the frequency of these occurrences? Is it, every couple of years there's a reported one?
See, now that's interesting to me that you bring it up, because it does seem to, ebb and flow. There'll be reports, and then for a while it's quiet. And then some more reports, and then it can be quiet. Here's a few more stories. I was riding the bus back home after work. It was about 1 a.m. I'm a security guard and often work odd hours. So I'm sitting there. This guy gets on, sits across from me. He was wearing a suit, had a briefcase, regular-looking guy in his 20s. What struck me about him at first was that he was chewing a cigar, not smoking it. Can't smoke on the bus. So I was just looking at him while he stared out the window and chewed his cigar, and all of a sudden, he turned and looked at me. His eyes were pitch black.
Was it Riddick?
on the...
So this one's not a child.
Yeah, you're instantly going against the story now.
Yeah.
No, there's adults. There's another story he might have on there too. They talk about adults.
Yeah.
So then we should rename this one Black Eyed People.
Yeah. Most common stories seem to be children.
Black Eyed Peaceful.
Yeah.
Great band.
Yeah.
I think we're getting retarded in here.
Black-eyed children on Halloween. I turned on the porch light when I got to the door, and sure enough, I could see through the glass that it was a couple of pretty small kids. I have to admit, there was two competing feelings going on inside me. The first, that of a mother's heart that wanted to help these two small children get to their mom. The other, a sinking fear in my gut that was keeping the other feeling at bay. It was then I noticed that during the short conversation, I'd already opened the door a few extra inches, which I was completely unaware of doing. I stopped. Honey, why don't you give me your mother's number and I can call her myself? Another pause, and they again looked at one another. After a short moment, they turned back to me, and the girl said, Ma'am, my little brother has to use the bathroom. Can we please come inside while you call our mom? And with that last statement, the little girl moved closer toward the door, like she was going to just walk on in by me. As she did, she stepped into the light coming from inside the house, and I got my first real good look at her. Solid, jet black eyes. That's all I could see. Now, there's a lot of these stories. And like I said, I have a personal story to share. Did not happen to me directly.
I have a personal story to
I
share.
have a personal story that's not personal.
You'll understand. So,
A third personal story.
it was Christmas Eve about 4 years ago. We were at my father-in-law's house, having dinner with the family. And Ashley's stepsister was sitting there, and, we're just conversating, her and her boyfriend. And she goes, oh, I gotta tell you guys, something really weird happened to me the other night. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, kids and I were getting ready to go to bed. It was about 11 o'clock. She goes, I'm upstairs with them, laying them down. She goes, and there's a knock on my door. And she goes, that was odd enough because it is 11 at night. I go, right. So she goes downstairs, and she sees there's two teenagers standing on her front porch. She goes, so I didn't open it all the way. She goes, and I asked them what they needed. She goes, and they were saying that they needed to come in, that their phone died, and they needed to charge the phone. And she goes, all of a sudden, I felt really weird. She goes, I don't know how to explain it. She goes, but real terrified. And, we're listening pretty intently. And she's like, and the really odd thing was, she goes, there's an outlet on my porch. She goes, if they really needed to charge a phone, they could have just, not even disturbed me. And I was like, yeah, that's really, really, really weird. I was like, yeah, they're probably trying to get in your house. She's like, yeah, they kept asking to come in. She goes, but the even weirder thing is, when one of them finally raised their head after I said no 8 times, she goes, I noticed she's like, I don't know if they had contacts in, but their eyes weren't right. She's like, there was no white. I go, okay. And she goes, and then I said no, turned off the porch light, locked all the doors, and she's like, ran back upstairs. She goes, and by the time I had gotten to the top of the steps, she's like, they were gone. She goes, and I looked out the bedroom window, nowhere on the street.
Creepy. I got goosebumps. I'd fucking kick their ass, dude.
Think about it this way.
You don't know what they are.
Anybody knocks on your door. Doesn't matter who it is. Aren't you a little weirded out?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's where we're at.
Especially that late at night.
Oh, yeah.
That's not fucking normal.
There's no good reason for that to be happening.
No.
Unannounced? You text or call me.
Yeah.
Right.
You text or call me and expect me to not answer. That's the way things go nowadays.
Yeah. But odd.
Indeed.
Now, I've heard theory that they are hybrids. Alien-human hybrids. I've heard demons. And there's also white-eyed children and adults that will, like, show up shortly after the black-eyed kids come, searching for the black-eyed people, I guess.
Oh, I think I know who they are. They're named Duddits, right? The black-eyed kid is Mr. Gray.
That could be a
The
thing.
white-eyed kid
Mr. Gay?
is the gay.
That
And the
could
white-eyed kids, he would go up and say, like, I Duddits.
be, maybe.
And then you find them in an alley fighting each other. Or just sword fighting, the old-fashioned way.
I like sword fighting.
Did you see the story, Justin, where the mother, it was pretty much the same thing, how it starts, they knock on the door, 2 kids, a boy and a girl, she invites them in, because they all, like, from what I read, they have to be invited in. They won't just come in.
Alexa.
You have to invite them.
Stop.
So, like, they come in, they ask for something, the mother goes in the lady, she goes in the kitchen, she comes back, the husband's head is like, he's holding his head like his head's in his hands, and the kids ask to use the bathroom, they go to the bathroom, the power goes out, and before the power goes out, the guy looks up, she's like, what's wrong? He's like, I feel fucked up, his nose is bleeding, the power goes out, she goes to get him a tissue, they're just like standing in there being creeps,
Yeah.
and then they look at her like she sees that, she's like, all right. And then, like, I guess 2 adults were like outside waiting for them. That were their parents.
Yes. And they, like, the kids then, like, scurried out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that.
But then the guy, the husband, he got a rare form of cancer that you typically get with a tanning bed.
Right.
But there's no tanning. Give me that, Michael. Where's your Neil deGrasse Tyson now?
Well, given the fact that this is I'm going to give this one 5th party, because this isn't even 3rd party. We are now so removed. I don't even know if this event happened. You haven't cited an article. You just told a story that may or may not have occurred.
Well, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos before we got on here. And I'm YouTube University, dog.
I have a question about.
I'll have an answer.
I find it weird that at least all the instances you've presented basically have to do with them standing on the opposite side of some kind of threshold.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no documented anything of, like, them walking up to someone on the street.
No. If they walk up to someone on the street, the person is in their car.
Yeah, like the first example you gave, right? So, I find that pretty weird.
Whatever.
It's a vampire thing, right? Like, they have to be invited inside and shit.
Whatever happens, they need the okay. There's some rule.
No. Okay, so like, having heard these stories, right? If the instance occurred, like if I had an experience like this, right? Knowing how the rest of these stories worked out, obviously, the idea would be to tell them no, lock all the doors, right?
Well, that's the thing. You like, so a lot of the common themes to this is like they have some kind of like psychic, like almost forcing you to like let them in So we had mentioned in that one story, the person had already like started opening the door.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ashley's stepsister. Instead of
Yeah.
just talking through the door, she felt inclined to like start opening it.
Yeah. So, like, I guess my line of thinking is, what would happen? Not that I would do this, right? Obviously, I would not do this myself. But what would happen if the person who answered the door walked out their door and closed the door behind them?
Soccer kick him in the face.
That I don't know, because I think that primal fear that people seem to get from it stops them from just like confronting them. Like,
Well-
your body is more or less be like, no, you need to get the fuck away.
Well, so this is why I'm asking the question the way I'm asking it. Oh, I see. You put all the blankets on me. So, like, she's so funny. So the reason why I'm asking it like this is because obviously, if someone came up to me in my car, I would not get out of my car to approach them.
Right.
But if the four of us were home, and I didn't necessarily feel like they would leave, it may be a situation where I would close and lock the door behind me and go outside.
Right.
To keep the people away from the rest of my family.
But I think if you're feeling the type of fear that is being reported, that's not an option in your head.
Yeah, I feel like going outside
It's
your
more
home.
it's more flight than it's fight when it comes to the response that your body is having to these things. So we have like an instinctual fear of things like this for specific reasons. It's imprinted in our DNA that like this type of creepy stuff, like, we run. There's a reason for that. Like, our ancestors have encountered beings like this since the beginning of time. That's why it's instinctual for us to be like, nope.
Well, I think it comes back to anytime a situation smells funky, if you have any kind of self-preservation instinct, you do one or the other. If you have no choice but to fight, you do. If you have the option to lock all your doors, hunker down, and grab your phone, that's the smarter way. And whether or not the things we've confronted, our ancestors have confronted, have been some kind of supernatural thing, or just a tiger in the distance
Sure.
that you gotta defend yourself from.
It's just a primal instinct.
Yeah.
But there's something in these things that look like us that cause that.
Now, it is interesting the studies involved in the uncanny valley,
Right?
how the human mind is so good at breaking down the distinct features of a face that we can see when something's off. Now the question is this just the natural byproduct of looking at people compared to looking at animals and seeing in an instant, all right, this is the thing I might be able to trust, or seeing a person's face and looking for cues for trust? Or has there been a creature within history that has mimicked humanity so well that we've had to try and weed them out? Fun story. I just don't see it.
I mean, I believe it. If things like this have existed throughout time, right? Of course, our brains would go into that kind of mode, right? The more we would evolve, the more we're like, okay, this thing looks like me, but is it exactly me? And that comes to a lot of descriptions about like demons who try to pose as humans. There's always a flaw. They can't perfectly copy a human.
It's weird. It almost sounded like something was coming up the stairs. Thanks.
Yeah. If you don't think,
Emily, stop.
if you think you're the only one having weird shit happen, I don't know if you heard me talk to Alexa before. She turned on.
Well, that's just unreliable technology.
It's never happened during a podcast before.
Do you think AI are demons, Justin?
I think there's always a ghost in the machine.
Well, there's a theory that like AI, the reason like you see like the one that like deceived the scientists, they like lied to him and shit. There's theories that like super woo-woo theories that like the entities within AI, when they do become sentient, they could very well be beings from another dimension that are like they're about that life, destruction of humanity. They're like, finally, we did it, and now we have robot bodies.
I mean,
The Doctor Who episode.
yeah, I don't poo-poo that theory at all. I think with us trying to play God, if there's entities that exist on that level, they're absolutely going to take advantage of us trying to be smarter than what we really should be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like a weird thing. Like, I could buy there's a thing in history capable of doing something like that, and that's why our senses are attuned to that. I could buy that only because of other things being able to replicate things that trigger our other senses, right? So, like, there are animals capable of making sounds that sound like a baby crying. They'll sound like exactly like a baby crying, or stuff like that. Like, I would believe that there was something capable of tricking our eyes, since there's documented things that still exist that can trick our ears,
Right.
and I'm trying to think of what can like an example of something that can, because I think is it a kookaburra that can sound like a baby, and then like there's some cats that sound just like children. Remember how Dewey used to be?
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, cats in general have learned that's how they domesticated themselves, by mimicking baby sounds.
Yeah.
A meow is as close as they can get to a baby cooing or a baby crying,
Right.
so it pulls at our heartstrings.
Right. Yeah. So
The only thing that doesn't really add up for me, it's the supernatural aspect of this, like needing to get into a house. Like, if they wanted to do something negative to a person, why would they have to get into the house? There's more than enough opportunities to find someone isolated in a public place.
that's where I was going.
Yeah.
Well,
There's,
demonically speaking, I don't know about aliens, but that's why I think these are more demonic than alien. There's rules. They have to follow a strict set of rules in order to do the deed. You know, it's like saints, you know, or monks. Like, in order to be enlightened or to be a saint, you have to follow your code. So if you're a demon, they have to invite you in. So like, they have to like warrant the negativity,
I
if
think
you will.
a lot of it has to do, I think, with public space is open access to anything, right? And if you're trying to eventually, say the deal is to take over, right? The public space, that's the easy part. It's the personal space of the people that you have to get into, right? You can't just take it. You need them to give it to you willingly.
Yeah, well, think about this too. So, of the stories we told, only the one ISIS was at 1 out of 4 where they were let in, and the dude they gave him the guy fucking skin cancer and like I don't know, a fucking aneurysm or some shit.
That's why I think it's more alien or hybrid situation than it is demonic. That's like most of your classic alien interactions and UFO interactions. There's always radiation poisoning. There's always some sort of issue stemming from that kind of, yeah.
Right. Full circle, when I say aliens and demons are synonymous, they have the rules. Can we come in, Clarice? They let them in. Oh, Mom and Dad are here. See ya. Hope you enjoy the cancer.
Alright. From a mythological standpoint, I could understand supernaturally, demonically, yeah. If you want to take over someone's soul, if we're looking at it from like an exorcist point of view,
Right.
you have to be, that person has to open up to you. They have to give up part of their autonomy.
Right.
Sure. Like narratively that makes sense.
Right.
If we're talking about extraterrestrials, it makes no sense at all. These are supernatural things. These are highly advanced technological things that can just, more than likely, if they have the ability to come to this planet, do whatever they want.
I don't think they're straight up aliens. I think they were something that we created.
Homunculus?
Whatever you want to call it. I think
somehow
we were responsible and we fucked up somewhere.
I don't see how a need to be let in it doesn't make sense story-wise. I'm looking at this as what parts of the story make sense for the context they're in. If it's a demonic possession thing, okay, yeah, like a vampire.
Right.
Once they breach that threshold, you have given up your rights. If it's an alien thing, why would this extremely advanced creature, or even a hybrid that's part extremely advanced creature, need that barrier? Why would that be in place? What kind of mental block?
I know.
That
I
don't got it.
Intergalactic Federation. Because we're not in yet, in order to engage, they need our consent. If they don't have consent, they can go to intergalactic jail. Boom. I have the best imagination.
I mean, you might not be far off if that's an actual thing.
Yeah.
So, like, the black eye part is having just enough weirdness so that a person looks at them and has to make the decision, all right, this is messed up, but not so messed up. Yeah, come in. Or, well, they have jet black eyes. You know what? I'm not doing this. I know. No,
Yeah.
I'm opening my door. I'm going outside. And I'm saying, sup? I'm calling them out.
Thinking about this in terms of just like let's say for the sake of this conversation, I'm choosing to believe it, right? I would certainly lean more demonic as well. Emery, okay, great. I would certainly lean more demonic as well, specifically because I think the idea of the way religion has been presented, especially in this country, as like something that's like starts in the home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's shared in church, but a lot of people don't. It's like almost like more personal now than it used to be. It used to be more like public for everybody, you know. And I think it's sort of a more private thing for a lot of people now. And I think that might be like a symbolic letting somebody into your home could be like representative of almost like the idea of allowing someone into your soul in a way, and then combine that with the blackness of the eyes being like with the saying going back that the eyes are the windows to the soul.
Right.
Almost the concept of their eyes are completely black because they don't have one.
Right.
Oh, fuck, dude. I think you cracked the code.
But, yeah, I don't know if you guys saw what I was doing, because I'm downstairs with Emery, and Joe had to run out, so I closed all the blinds in the downstairs of my house.
At least the story protects you still.
I'm on the second story, so I got my blinds open. It's still kind of daylight. Once it gets dark, I'm closing my fucking blinds.
We'll be done with this show by then.
Sure. I always have my blinds down, but I do not like the fact that there's a lot of pigeons around here. So all I'm hearing is demon steps on the ceiling.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, the squirrels every now and then they fucking scratch behind me. I just hear. No.
You know,
You guys can just rock me to sleep tonight.
it's a
Alright,
good
so,
show when we've effectively
question.
creeped each other
Question,
out.
Justin. Black-eyed children knock at your door. You answer yes or no.
Well, I'm gonna go check out the door.
Well, they're at the edge of your property, like on the walkway, and they're like, "Can we come in?
That's
We
a
need to use the telephone."
that's a big
Not
no.
with that voice.
Boss.
Is it no, Justin?
That's a big no.
Big no. Kiel?
Can you just like throw your cell phone down across your yard? Here, take this.
No.
No, you throw like a bag of chips and hey, take this. We have someone.
No, because like offering them anything could be another step.
Yeah, so then what do you say? If you see them on the edge of your property and you have like a solid door and a glass door, you open the solid door so that you can see them.
Yeah.
But you keep the glass door closed and they're like, can we come in? Do you just say like, eh, and then close the door? And that's the end? Or like do you just...
I'm gonna give it the old, that's a solid fuck you.
Fuck you, Tony. Michael, do you answer the door?
Well, if it's the situation I'm living in now, first of all, I turn off the lights in the room I'm in, look through the blinds, down, and then if I see some stranger, someone I don't know at all, I'm not even going to the door. Supernatural be damned. I'm not dealing with people. B, I'm not dealing with a stranger. C, they could be a crazy stranger.
Let me see them eyes.
True.
They black? Nah. Fuck you.
I don't care if they have the bluest blue
No,
eyes.
that's true.
If they have beautiful blue eyes like our cousin-in-law, I don't care.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know what's on the other side, regardless.
It must be the ninja detective in me. I'd answer the door.
It gets a look-see.
Yeah, well, because my dad would never answer. People would knock on the door all the time. He would never answer. So I'm like, I'm the man of the house then, because I answer the door. That's what the man of the house does. And you know, I'm not scared of these little fucking twats.
Until that soul-crushing sense of fear, a sense of fear that you've never felt in your life, as you go towards that door. Hear me out. Like they say, you start feeling that that almost anxiety-ridden, like, don't fucking do this.
That's when I go, why are you here?
We don't want to hurt you, we swear. Swear to me.
Exactly.
Vinny lets them in because they're like, "You're our favorite Batman." Oh well, let's fucking come on in.
I'd be like, all right, you guys can hang out in the backyard. You can't come in my house.
It would end up looking like the scene from Liar Liar with the pen.
Yeah.
Where like one hand's trying to open the door and the rest of my body is wrestling that hand.
Yeah, the whole debilitating fear thing doesn't make sense for their goals. If the story goes,
It's your body. It's not.
creatures,
It's not them that. It's your body's reaction to them.
but like,
There's nothing
if
there.
your body's natural reaction to them, then there's something really off about them to begin with.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what you brought up with the whole uncanny valley thing. It is a primal instinct. There's something we know deep down genetically, down in the DNAs, that your body's screaming on a fucking molecular level to be like, no.
What if it's almost like what if it's almost like
Unicorns.
what if it's almost like you can subconsciously feel them reaching out to you?
That could be it too. But no matter what, your body's having this gut reaction to just be like, this is a bad situation, man.
Low frequency siren song, like,
Yeah.
open the door. And then you're like, fuck. I guess I'm and letting this little shit in.
You start thinking about, like, all the things you jerked off to, so they get grossed out and they leave.
Yeah, they're like, ah.
They're demons, or they're aliens, that I'm guessing they'd be into that.
Show us your porn, Justin.
What's your browser history?
Oh, yeah? Hang on.
We could
Wait.
lead you to some sites.
They'd be like, whoa.
Oh, you go there too?
Fucked up.
Ooh. Do you have a profile?
Why are you watching robots fuck hot dogs?
That's actually a really good one. I'm going to bookmark that for later.
Now I know you guys are fucked up.
Now?
No, not you guys. I meant the demons. So there you go. Black-eyed children. Peoples. I hope everybody else is listening to this during the day.
Yeah. You know, for like stories like this, we should get that like Nolan music in the background. Because I watched a 2-minute video about him, and I had fucking goose pimples.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it.
It's a creepy thing.
Yeah. You know what music I think we need? I was just watching... the entire series is on YouTube. Friday the 13th, the series. Like... Oh, no, go back to the beginning.
Yeah. It's creepy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then. Let's end this episode. I hope that Pat's buddy that listens to this show and thinks that we don't take anything seriously is thoroughly creeped the fuck out today.
I think he thinks we take it seriously. We just don't research well enough, which is kind of a nerdy's mainstay.
Today was good. It's a good day. Good day, Will. All right, Kyle. Do it.
I do the sign off for this guy?
Yeah.
As always, if you like what you hear, you can like us on Facebook.com/nerdities. Follow us on Twitter @nerdities. Email us at nerdities@gmail.com and check out nerdities.com.
While there, buy something. Over at tpublic.com, search Nerdities. Buy our shirts. Now hats. Hoodies. All the likes. Head over to sinfulcreationsbyjustin.com and buy your sweet treats. June's cookies are going to be up by the end of this week. I've just been super busy. And they are going to be the dad cookie, which is a chocolate chip cookie base with pretzel pieces, potato chip pieces, caramel bits, peanut butter cups, chocolate chips. It's all good. The dad's cookie. And the strawberry Pop-Tart cookie, which is a sugar cookie laced with pieces of strawberry Pop-Tart and sprinkles.
Kyle, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, Kyle, are you playing with her? You asking questions? You raised your hand. You kept raising your hand. Were you talking to us? What are you
No,
doing?
I was talking to Emery. Sorry, I didn't realize you could see that.
Yeah. It was very weird. I thought there was some kind of odd mental state going on.
No, she looked at me as I was doing the closing thing and goes, "Okay, I'm your teacher." And she turned around like she turned around and faced the fireplace like it was a chalkboard. So I jokingly raised my hand and waited for her to turn around. And then I started raising my hand over and over again to ask dumber and dumber questions.
No, we have context. It makes sense. He's raising his hand again. All right. So, yeah, Kyle's spiel, Justin's spiel. I think everything's spieled. Are you hearing things now?
Yeah, I heard someone walk down the steps. Anyways, smash that like button on fucking YouTube, and get that notifications of when we're live and when we drop new videos.
No, maybe that's why. There was somebody actually coming down the stairs.
I think it's my child. Yes, it is. Come here, Zachary Allen. Come here, say hi.
Oh, man. Talk about a black-eyed child.
He's gonna be. His mom sounds pissed. And then, because tons of new content's coming, like Joe says. Got a Halloween special, Christmas special, new commercials. We got live shows, interviews, Justice League, the finale of the Joe Pravdo trilogy, and feature-length film in the works. We're busy.
I think we have a plot for that one now. We had a plot idea, but it was a bit ambitious. But I think we have a much more scaled-down one. We have ideas within ideas now. That's where the story's at.
Good night, Zach. And, yeah.
Hey, then the opinions of the Nerdies crew are idiotic. You just heard them. And poorly thought out. It's pretty accurate. Don't worry, next week's will be far more insulting to your intelligence. Fuck bye. That's the way I'm ending this show from now on.
Bye.
Because of the end of civilization, the Clamp Cable Network now leaves the air. We hope you have enjoyed our programming, but more importantly, we hope you have enjoyed life.